Hello, 7th and 8th grade explorers. Today we're going to talk really quickly about the focus questions and then do a little bit of talking about the writing prompt, and I will have you on your way. So, as you are getting through to the focus questions, hopefully you've been using the notes sections of each page like I recommend. It usually makes this part much easier if you've been taking notes. So let's jump into question 1. As you reread the first 3 paragraphs, highlight the names of the 2 spacecraft in which the astronauts are working and living. Highlight 2, how the text helps readers understand the differences between the 2 spacecraft. What context clues in paragraph 3, including any Greek or Latin prefixes, suffixes, or roots of words, can help readers understand the technical language in paragraph 2. So based on what we know so far, and what we've read, and what we know about prefixes and suffixes, what can we deduce? What can we put together to understand the technical language? So, what helps you to understand as you were reading it? Think about that, because you are a reader. You do count as that. Now, in this case, you would say context clues in paragraph 3 help the reader to understand the technical language because, and or this is an example of a context clue that helps the reader understand the technical language in paragraph 2 and then like quote it. Just use a couple of different possibilities. The reason you'll say the reader as opposed to me is you again want to be general in formal writing and you don't want to refer to yourself. So that one's pretty straightforward. So it's basically read it, look at some of the prefixes and suffixes and root words and context, and use what is familiar to you to piece together the overall understanding of the text. And based on that, how did it help you? What helped you? Now, in question 2, in paragraph 4, Lavelle tells Houston that the problem is with a main B bus undervolt. What clues in paragraph 3 help you infer what the main B bus undervolt supplies? Highlight textual evidence and make annotations citing the other technical problems that the spacecraft is experiencing. So you're just going to go back through, you're going to highlight and write notes basically right there on the page, showing what some of the other technical problems are. And you're going to look in paragraph 4. You're going to try to find out by reading it and looking at the context what the main B bus undervolt does and what it supplies. Because remember, an inference is basically us drawing conclusions based on what we read. It's essentially a really well-educated guess. So based on what you've read, what do you think it supplies? That's really all you have to do for that question. Question number 3 is, why was the removal of carbon dioxide from the LM a problem in paragraph 14? How did mission control solve this problem? So you're literally just basically saying, okay, this is problem solution writing. What did they do specifically? Like, what was the issue and what did they do to fix the problem? So like if, say, I have a screw that's like loose on a table and I take a screwdriver and I tighten the screw. The problem is the screw is loose. And the problem that stems from the screw being loose comes from the fact that my table could break, right? So my table could break because the screw is loose, and I solved the problem by tightening the screw. So think about it like that. What's the problem, and how'd they fix it? Really easy. And we're going to move on to question number 4. And that is in paragraph 17. The text states, a most remarkable achievement of mission control was quickly developing procedures for powering up the CM after its long, cold sleep. What if flight controllers do to solve the problem? Literally all they're asking you is, tell me what they did to solve the problem. And, highlight the specific technical language and all that. But essentially, you're just being asked how they fix the issue. And finally, number 5, our last of our focus questions, is Apollo 13's original mission was to explore a lunar highland, but after the explosion and failure of the spacecraft's oxygen tanks, the astronauts in mission control had a new goal in mind. What was the goal? What was accomplished? And was it accomplished? So this one required you to have paid a little bit more attention as you were reading. And basically, after all of these things went wrong, they had a new goal. They were no longer trying to land on the moon and explore this lunar highland. They were trying to do something else. What was that something else, and did they achieve it? Pretty simple questions, pretty straightforward. And then the last thing we're going to look at really quickly is going to be the writing prompt. And that is the last page of your assignment packet. And the Apollo, it's simply this. The Apollo 13 mission has been called a successful failure. Explain why in an informative or explain why in an informative/explanatory essay. So this is, again, going to be formal writing. So no chat speak. Don't write out cuz, CUZ, those kinds of things. You want to begin with a clear thesis statement. So explain to me what the essay is going to be about. Hint, they've basically given you all you need to create a thesis statement in the very first sentence of this assignment. And organize your information, supporting details, citing specific textual evidence from Apollo 13 mission highlights. They want you to use technical language in your essay. So use the language that they use to describe to describe Apollo 13. Like, explain to your reader how it works, what language, and in the language the story uses. Don't simplify it. And be sure to explain the meaning of scientific and technical terms, either by providing explicit evidence in the text or by using context clues to help readers draw inferences about the meaning of them. So this is where you would cite specific quotes or phrases or statements and say, this is the technical word, this is what it means because the text says this, or based on what the text says, we can infer that it says this. And that's what this means. So you want to explain the ideas and the concepts to your reader, the technology stuff, because you can't assume your reader knows. So if you were explaining this and you were being asked this question, you cannot assume I know all this information. Because oftentimes you're asked to create a presentation and stuff later on as you get older for like work or something like that. And people don't know. That's why you're making the presentation, right? Is to explain it to somebody else. So you can't assume that people know things. So always have that explanation. And then it asks you to clarify the connections among your ideas with transitions and use a formal style suited to audience and purpose. Basically what I just told you. Assume your reader doesn't know. Make sure you use good transition words. And then, of course, again, formal style. So no cuz, CUZ, don't like shorten it out to B/C for because. Write it out. This is formal writing. You're not sending a text message. And then finally, summarize your main ideas with a strong concluding statement. So I think I've told your class this before, but I'm going to tell you again, just to be sure. The simplest way to think about an essay is your first paragraph. You tell the reader what you're going to tell them. You're like, my essay is basically going to be about this. Boom, thesis statement. couple little details, and then in your body paragraphs, you actually tell the reader, right? You tell them. And then finally, in your conclusion, when you're wrapping it up and summarizing everything, you're literally telling the reader what you just told them. So it's, in short, it's tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Simplest way to think of an essay. So, opening, what are you talking about? Body, talk about it. Conclusion, this is all the stuff I just talked about. Simple. All right. So don't stress yourselves out about this. Go simple. I have full confidence in all of you. I know you can all do this. And it's not too bad. I'm not asking you to write like a 6-page essay or anything crazy. Okay? So just relax, focus, use the story, use your notes, refer to the other questions if you think they might help you, and then just have at it. So, if you have any questions about any of the stuff we've gone over today, yesterday, anything else as you've been reading, go ahead and reach out to me either by Google Voice or by my email. Those are on the front page of your packet. And if you don't have any questions, then have a safe and fun weekend, and I will see you on Monday.